Hello, New York Yankees fans. We have brand new exclusive videos and the latest news for you. Before we get started, we'd like to invite you to join our channel and give this video a like. It's crucial to get exclusive access to the latest updates. The baseball world is buzzing with a story that feels almost too big to believe, and yet it is unfolding right before our eyes. The New York Yankees, an organization synonymous with tradition, championships, and monumental deals, have shocked fans and critics alike by securing the services of Fernando Tatis Jr. The news broke like a thunderclap across the sporting universe, and within moments, the whispers grew into a roar that echoed through social media platforms, fan bars, and even the front offices of rival teams. For years, the Yankees have been labeled as a team that pursues stars, a franchise that never hesitates to swing big, but this move surpasses even their legendary reputation. Fernando Tatis Jr., the electric shortstop and outfielder with charisma, flair, and a skill set that borders on generational, will now wear pinstripes. What makes this moment even more extraordinary is the way it was revealed. Not through a quiet press release or a cautious statement, but through a historic celebration staged in Yankee Stadium itself. The team orchestrated a spectacle with fireworks, chants, and a sea of jerseys unveiled in unison, making it feel less like a signing and more like a coronation, a historic welcoming party. Fans who witnessed the announcement inside Yankee Stadium described an atmosphere that felt like the conclusion of a World Series, even though no trophy was lifted that night. The Yankees leaned into their reputation for showmanship, inviting legends of the past, broadcasting highlights of iconic Yankee moments on the stadium screens, and finally introducing Tatis Jr. as if he were a conquering hero returning home. The crowd erupted, with thousands chanting his name in unison, their voices shaking the structure of the stadium. Tatis Jr. himself emerged from the dugout wearing a crisp pinstripe uniform with number 23 on his back, paying homage to both Don Mattingly and a legacy of Yankee icons. He raised his cap high, smiling with that trademark confidence that has made him one of the most recognizable faces in baseball. Cameras captured him pounding his chest, pointing to the fans, and mouthing the words, "I'm here," sending chills through anyone watching. It was more than a signing. It was theater, a moment that will be replayed for years in highlight reels. The Yankees wanted to announce a new era, and in that instant, they succeeded spectacularly. The ripple effect across the league was immediate. Executives from rival teams reportedly scrambled to reassess their strategies, wondering how the balance of power in Major League Baseball might shift now that Tatis Jr. had joined forces with one of the most financially dominant and historically powerful franchises in sports. Analysts began debating whether this move instantly made the Yankees the clear-cut favorites for the World Series, even before a single pitch of the new season had been thrown. Critics questioned the financial details, speculating about the size of the contract, the bonuses involved, and what the Padres had received in return. Meanwhile, Yankees fans celebrated in the streets, gathering outside the stadium, waving flags, honking car horns, and chanting late into the night. For many, this moment felt like a restoration of the franchise's identity as not only contenders, but as leaders of baseball's cultural conversation. Tatis Jr. was more than just a player joining the roster. He was a symbol of ambition, of dominance, and of a Yankees' unwavering desire to remain the epicenter of the sport. The reaction online was just as explosive. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok lit up with clips of the announcement, fan reactions, and endless speculation about how Tatis Jr. would fit into the Yankees lineup. Memes circulated comparing him to past Yankee legends like Derek Jeter, while others joked that the rest of the league should start preparing for second place. Some Padres fans expressed heartbreak, feeling as though they had lost not only a player, but the future face of their franchise. Still, many acknowledged that the move was inevitable, as tension had grown in San Diego over contracts, injuries, and the team's inability to translate talent into championships. For the Yankees faithful, however, this was nothing short of destiny fulfilled. Fernando Tatis Jr. in pinstripes looked like something drawn from a dream, a perfect alignment of player and brand. His swagger, his smile, his explosive bat flips, all seemed tailor-made for the bright lights of New York. It was as though the baseball gods had orchestrated this union, setting the stage for a new chapter in Yankee lore. Tatis Jr., speaking briefly to reporters after the event, described the moment as surreal and powerful. "This is the place where legends are made, and I want to be part of that story," he said, his voice carrying confidence, but also a sense of humility. He acknowledged the weight of the pinstripes, the expectations that come with joining a franchise where every game feels like it carries more history than just the 9 innings played. He smiled when asked about playing in front of the notoriously tough New York crowd, saying that pressure has always fueled his best performances. The Yankees front office stood proudly behind him, smiling, knowing they had just pulled off one of the most monumental deals in recent memory. Even rival journalists, known for their cynicism, admitted the spectacle was unforgettable. In one night, the Yankees had reshaped the narrative of an entire season and possibly the next decade. All eyes now turned toward opening day, where every swing, every dive, and every flash of brilliance from Tatis Jr. would be dissected, celebrated, and remembered. Yet beneath the celebrations and the fireworks, there was also an undercurrent of intrigue. How would Tatis Jr. adapt to the scrutiny of the New York media, notorious for its relentless coverage and unforgiving analysis? Could his flamboyant style coexist with the Yankees' storied emphasis on discipline and tradition? And perhaps most crucially, could he stay healthy and consistent enough to justify the enormous investment and expectations? These questions lingered in the minds of fans and analysts alike, even as the excitement of the signing overshadowed them for now. Baseball, after all, is a long season filled with highs and lows, and the pinstripes carry as much pressure as they do prestige. But for one night, at least, none of those doubts mattered. For one night, Fernando Tatis Jr. was not just a baseball player. He was a phenomenon, a story that transcended the sport, a headline that demanded attention from every corner of the sports world. The Yankees had done it again, reminding everyone why they are called the Bronx Bombers. And Tatis Jr. was now the newest chapter in their never-ending saga of greatness. What's fascinating about this entire saga is how it seemed to emerge from whispers, from rumors so outrageous that most dismissed them as fantasy. For weeks, there had been quiet chatter on talk radio and in late-night baseball podcasts suggesting that the Yankees had their eyes on Tatis Jr. Few believed it, since San Diego had invested heavily in him and repeatedly stated their intention to build around his superstar presence. Yet, behind the scenes, negotiations were apparently brewing, carefully orchestrated to avoid leaks until the deal was finalized. Insiders now claim the Yankees have been pursuing Tatis Jr. for months, offering not only financial might, but also a vision of how his career could explode in the global spotlight of New York. The idea was simple but irresistible. If Tatis Jr. was already a star in San Diego, he could become a global icon in the Bronx. That promise, paired with the Yankees' unmatched resources and history, may have been the deciding factor. When the deal finally materialized, it felt like the fulfillment of a rumor that had grown too loud to ignore, a dream that suddenly became reality, leaving fans stunned by the audacity of all. Inside the Yankees clubhouse, reactions were said to be overwhelmingly positive. Veterans reportedly welcomed the news with excitement, knowing that a player of Tatis Jr.'s caliber could change the dynamics of the team instantly. Young players, too, seemed inspired by the arrival of the figure whose highlights they had grown up watching. The clubhouse energy, once described as steady but lacking spark, now crackled with anticipation and ambition. Coaches and staff spoke of the possibilities. Lineups stacked with power, defensive plays that could redefine the infield, and an outfield rotation that offered both speed and flair. The presence of Tatis Jr. meant more than numbers on a stat sheet. It meant showmanship, energy, and a new kind of charisma injected into the heart of the Yankees. Observers noted that even during his first interactions with teammates, Tatis Jr. was laughing, joking, and establishing instant chemistry. For a team already loaded with talent, his arrival was like a jolt of electricity through the system. And in New York, where spectacle matters as much as results, this was the perfect combination of talent and personality. But of course, not everyone viewed the deal through rose-colored glasses. Skeptics pointed to TATIS Jr.'s past injuries, questioning whether he could endure the relentless grind of a 162-game season while living under the magnifying glass of New York City. Others raised concerns about his flashy style, worrying that it might clash with the Yankees' unwritten rules of tradition, where players are often expected to show restraint and discipline above all else. Would his exuberant bat flips, his chains, his celebrations fit the image of Yankee baseball? Or would the franchise itself adapt, recognizing that baseball is changing, that fans crave emotion and entertainment alongside skill? The debate was fierce, and it continues to swirl in sports media circles, with columnists either praising the Yankees for their boldness or criticizing them for gambling on a player whose stardom comes with risk. Yet, amid the skepticism, one undeniable truth remained. This signing had already captured the imagination of millions. Whether it ended in triumph or disappointment, it was a story that demanded attention, and that alone made it a success for a sport always searching for drama. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In the city of New York, the signing was more than just a baseball transaction. It was a cultural event. Billboards began flashing images of TATIS Jr. in his new uniform. Local radio stations interrupted regular programming to replay clips of his introduction at Yankee Stadium. Even non-baseball fans, people who might rarely tune into a game, found themselves intrigued by the spectacle. Street vendors quickly printed T-shirts with his name and number, selling them to eager fans who wanted to wear a piece of history. At sports bars across the 5 boroughs, the conversation dominated every table, with debates about lineups, strategies, and what TATIS Jr. might mean for a city desperate for another championship. The Yankees had long been more than a team. They were a brand, a symbol of New York's pride and ambition. Adding TATIS Jr. to the mix elevated that brand to new heights, positioning the team not just as contenders, but as cultural icons in a way that stretched far beyond the diamond. For a city that thrives on spectacle, drama, and big personalities, this was a perfect storm. Meanwhile, in San Diego, emotions ran high. Fans who had celebrated TATIS Jr. as their future felt blindsided, hurt, and betrayed. The Padres organization faced immediate backlash, with many questioning how they could allow a generational talent to slip away. The official statements painted the move as a difficult but necessary decision, framed around long-term flexibility and organizational priorities. But to the average fan, those words rang hollow compared to the reality of losing a player who had been the face of hope and excitement. Outside Petco Park, some fans gathered in protest, holding signs and chanting in frustration. Others took to social media to vent their anger, promising to never forgive the front office for what they saw as a failure of commitment. Still, a few voices acknowledged the challenges the Padres faced, admitting that while painful, the trade might open opportunities for a more balanced roster. But even those tempered reactions were drowned out by the overwhelming sense of loss. For San Diego, this was not just about baseball, it was about identity, about losing a symbol of the city's aspirations and dreams. Now, as the dust begins to settle, the focus shifts to the future. What will this historic move mean for the Yankees, for TATIS Jr., and for baseball itself? Optimists believe it will usher in a golden era, with the Yankees once again at the center of the baseball universe, driven by the brilliance of their new star. Pessimists caution that the weight of expectation could crush even a player as talented as TATIS Jr., especially in a city where patience is rare and criticism relentless. Somewhere in the middle lies the reality. The signing is both a gamble and a promise, one that could redefine careers, franchises, and even the culture of the sport. For now, all anyone can do is wait and watch as the story unfolds. Opening day looms like a curtain ready to rise, and the world is holding its breath for the first act of this new era. The Yankees have made their move, bold and unapologetic. Fernando Tatis Jr. is in New York, and whatever comes next, it will be unforgettable. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.